What's going down, YouTube town? It's your boy Captain Retro, and today I want to talk about something that happened to me back in 2010. I've talked to this about this a couple times with different people, and a couple people know the story, and most people don't. In 2010, that summer, let's say it was I think May or so, in that right before the summer, I was working at Ruby Tuesdays, waiting tables and bartending, and also had a side job as a assistant manager at the Gamestop in Conyers, Georgia. I worked there for about 4 months. It was right around May when I quit the job. I'm not exactly sure. I got to look at the news article to be exactly sure of the dates. But long story short, I was working 2 jobs and trying to, make life happen and do things and play in my band and do all kind of other stuff. And I've got some other friends on this planet that are way more successful in their lives than I am. One of them happens to be a guy named Clay Cook, who plays in the Zac Brown Band. And Clay came home that May for some reason, came back around, and we got in touch. And years before, when I was 19 and 20, I had gone on the road with him and his uncle's band, the Marshall Tucker Band. His uncle is Doug Gray, the lead singer of the Marshall Tucker Band. And they took me on the road as a guitar tech, and I stayed with them for a little over a year, working as a guitar tech backstage and touring around the country with them, and had a fucking fantastic time. But during that time, it made me want to play in my own band and keep playing music and do my own thing. So eventually I quit and came back home and started a band and did all kind of stuff. And let's fast forward 10 years. 10 years later, Clay shows back up again. He has now joined the Zac Brown Band. He had played with Sugarland, he'd played with Sean Mullins and a couple other bands. He finally got a job with the Zac Brown Band playing guitar and piano with those guys, and he's still in the band. You can check them out, they're amazing. Anyway, in May he showed up, and we went out to dinner one night, and he asked me, "Hey man, do you maybe want to go on the road this summer? We need a guitar tech. We need some extra help this summer on the road. You want to go?" And I was like, "Man, I got 2 jobs, but yes, please, twist my fucking arm. Let's go." So I quit Ruby Tuesdays and GameStop. The GameStop job was awesome. I mean, I love video games, and selling video games was fun, and being there and, being knowledgeable about stuff is always good. And I was moving up the ranks pretty fast. I was actually a key holder, and I was opening the store and closing the store on certain days. And there by myself sometimes early in the morning and doing things and, trying to be a good employee. And when I quit the job, I didn't give a notice. Clay they needed a guitar tech that week, basically. So within 6 or 7 days after I got asked, I was on a plane to Indianapolis and joined up and met the band out there and got on the tour truck, and we drove around and did our thing for about 4 months. I was on the road with them from May through August. And then I lost the job. And then come November, the GameStop that I worked at was robbed. The guy that took my job and came in to work at the GameStop was robbed. Some fellas decided they needed some Xbox 360 stuff, and they broke into the store that morning as he was opening. They came in and apparently tied him up in the back and took a customer hostage, stole some Xbox 360 stuff, and left. Eventually the guy was, the police came and whatnot, and he was untied and okay. But the hostage that was taken, was shot and killed. And these 2 teenager guys that did this were eventually caught. I believe they might have been caught in the parking lot of the GameStop. I got to look up the article, and I'm going to pull that up and show y'all here. But basically, had I not been asked to do that, I could have been that manager. That was my shift. I may have been tied up in the back, and knowing me and my fucking mouth, I could have got shot. You're not going to steal shit from me. I don't play that kind of way, and you know what I mean? My mouth would have gotten me into trouble. I know it. My mouth gets me into trouble on YouTube. My mouth would have gotten me in trouble with 2 dudes with guns. So I was over on a Smash JT live stream, and we were talking about crazy stuff, and the story came up again, and I hadn't thought about it in a while, and I just thought I might want to sit here and tell you guys that thank God for the Zac Brown Band and Clay Cook. Without them, that could have been me. And it's just crazy. Number one, it's crazy that anybody needs to steal Xbox 360 stuff, any kind of stuff. I mean, why do people steal? It makes no fucking sense. You're desperate, but to take a hostage and to kill someone and tie up the manager, that's just even crossing in a bigger line than stealing shit. And that could have been me. And every day since I read that article, I've thanked God for number one, still being here and deciding to take that job when I did. And at the time, I didn't give a 2-week notice. My manager was super pissed, and he was like, "You will never work for GameStop Corporation ever again. I will make sure that happens." And I was like, "Dude, I get it. I don't plan on coming back." I thought at the time, I thought that, as long as I did a pretty good job on the road, that they'd ask me to stay around for a longer time. And I did a good job, and I was out with them for about 4 months. And they did end up bringing in some more people, but now technically I know my way around a guitar. I can fix them. I can change pots out. I can restring stuff. I can set the action. I can get them in tune. I know my way around a guitar, but fixing things really isn't my forte. And something happened in August of that year on the road. Clay, one of his amps died on stage in the middle of a song, and we had backup stuff. So I ran out there and swapped the amp out, and they needed it repaired. And I don't have those technical skills. I can't repair an amplifier. So they had to send it off and have it fixed. And within a couple weeks, I think we had some time off, that we had maybe a 2-week break or something like that. And, I said goodbye at the bus. And then about a week and a half later, Clay called me and was like, hey, they're going to bring in a couple like guys who are trained to repair these things. And so they're not going to ask you to come back out again. And, that kind of hurt. It made me a little sad, but I felt like it wasn't necessarily my fault. I'm just not technically qualified to do the full job. And when you're a AAA giant, machine like the Zac Brown Band was becoming in the summer of 2010, that they were opening for the Dave Matthews Band when I first went out with them. And, Dave Matthews Band, they'd play for about an hour, and then Dave Matthews Band would come out and play for like 3 hours. And like, that's big time. They were big time. It was 50,000, 60,000, 80,000 people at these shows. It was incredible, and it's something I'll never forget. But I just didn't, you want the best of the best, and if I would have wanted the best. If I was told that this dude can't do this, then let's get someone who can. You know what I mean? So I totally understand the reason I lost that job. And while it did hurt, I took it in stride. I still had my band going, and my life is my life, and you know what I mean? I'll make. You give me the lemons, and I'm going to make some fucking lemon popsicles and put them in the freezer and freeze them up and eat them later. That's how the Coglin looks at things. The captain. That's how the captain looks at things. Anyway, I just wanted to share this story and let people know that the things sometimes you might think that you've made the wrong decision. When I did quit that job, and my manager was super pissed at me, and like I had to quit Ruby Tuesdays too, and like they weren't very happy with it, and I just felt I had burned some bridges at that moment. But by burning those bridges, I think I might have saved my own life. And do what's in your gut. If your gut tells you to do something, fucking do it. And my gut told me do that, and I did that, and I'm thankful every day that I listened to my gut. So that's what this whole thing's about. Listen to your gut. Do what you want to do, as long as you're not in cringing on someone else's rights. Do you, boo, and do your thing in this world. And that's all I've ever done, by the way, is my thing. So that's it. That's all. Nothing against GameStop. I loved working there. It's a great company. It's still a great company. They're idiots, and they give you crazy trade-in value on stuff that isn't worth that much. And if you know how to work the system, you can really make GameStop work for you. I guess that's all. Thanks for watching. I don't know. Crazy. Captain Retro, it's the Captain Retro Show.